This episode, we're taking Thailand's overnight train. Over the past few days, we've been travelling around Bangkok, exploring the busy city, visiting markets on train tracks, and even on the water, and heading deep into the jungle at Khao Yai National Park. Now, we're travelling over 700 kilometres across Thailand while we sleep, heading north to Chiang Mai to see if first class is really worth it. We arrived at the Central Terminal Station, located just near the famous Chatuchak markets. This is where all the long-distance trains depart, and it's currently the largest railway station in Southeast Asia. The scale is enormous, with vast halls that feel almost empty. Towards the northern end of the station, you'll find the ticket counters. But if you want to book a first-class cabin, you have to book in advance on the State Railway of Thailand's website, and they open 180 days ahead of schedule. There are a few different trains running on this route, but train number 9, the Special Express CNR, uses the newest trains in the fleet. From there you can select the first class room, which is around 3,100 baht, or about 150 Australian dollars for 2 people. If you're travelling solo, you can either book the entire cabin yourself or see the gender of the person booked next to you before confirming. Before heading through to the platforms, we decided to check out the food court. There's a huge range here, everything from crispy pork to charcoal barbecue and noodles, fried dishes and other popular Thai meals. Closer to the platforms, there's also some snack stalls, drink vendors and convenience stores offering packed meals that you can take away for later. Doubling back to the entrance, we also spotted some vending machines with selling snacks and coffee. So we decided to grab a few things for later. Always good for an overnight journey. After speaking with the information desk, we found out there's actually a first class passenger room, which wasn't mentioned anywhere on the website. When we first arrived, it was actually locked, but there's another nearby desk where the staff can check your ticket and let you in. Inside, it's pretty basic. An open space with some couches, charging ports, and some complimentary water in the fridge. There are also 3 small, private suite-style rooms where you can sit back and relax. It's a quiet spot and honestly surprisingly comfortable. Seems like not many of the first-class passengers knew about these rooms, so we had one all to ourselves. The station also has some pay-to-use showers. They're located on the platform side, hidden in the corner. The cost is 20 baht for 10 minutes, which is pretty reasonable. And once you pay, the machine opens the door and there's a small changing area and a button to start the water. Super handy, especially for anyone travelling in third class. Now, despite having a first class ticket, don't expect any of that kind of priority boarding. Everyone lines up together close to departure time. The first class carriage is located towards the end of the train, and once boarding, the corridor is quite narrow since the cabins take up most of the space. The design of the train carriages and the cabins feel a little old school, even though these are technically the newest trains. Fresh towels are waiting on the seats, which is a nice touch. If you're travelling as a group of 4, adjacent cabins can be unlocked and connected together. Each cabin has an lower and an upper berth, which is stowed away when you arrive. Near the door, there's a mirror with a small cabinet and a tiny little sink just below. Above the door, the bedding and mattresses are stored, and each berth has its own screen which only displayed train information. I guess it's BYO entertainment. On the other end, there's a reading light and a power outlet for both the lower and upper berths. A small fold-out table and some complimentary water is also provided. As for luggage storage, well, we had 1 large and 1 medium suitcase, and it took a bit of Tetris to get them all fitting, but we managed to do so. The main reason to book first class though is the privacy. Having a lockable door and your own air-conditioned space makes a big difference. Once we left Bangkok behind, we decided to be the first ones to try out the onboard shower. Before heading to the shower, it's worth mentioning the bathroom setup in the first class carriage. There's one urinal, 2 toilets, and a single shower shared between the cabins. The toilets themselves are pretty basic and slightly dated, very similar to an airline style bathroom. Getting the hot water working was a little tricky. If it's not heating up, definitely ask the attendant. The space itself is pretty snug, there's not a lot of room to move, and shampoo provided. But there's only just one hook for your clothes and no bench for storage. After showering, we settled in for dinner, having the food we picked up earlier at the station. Meals aren't included with the first class ticket, although a staff member does come through the carriage with a menu if you prefer to order food on board at your own cost. We went with a mix of Hainan chicken rice, crispy chicken rice, and braised pork noodles. The chicken rice was definitely a highlight. Fragrant rice, tender chicken, and surprisingly good considering it came from the train station. The noodles on the other hand didn't fare as well. By the time we ate them, they'd soaked up almost all the soup, but they were still comforting enough for a late night meal on the train. Not long after dinner, the attendant came through and converted the cabin into sleeping mode. She laid out the clean sheets on the mattresses, along with the pillows and a blanket. Within a few minutes, the cabin had completely transformed from seating into a proper sleeping space. A not so comfortable arrangement though is brushing your teeth in that small sink. It's pretty awkward. Even though it's quite hot in Thailand, once the air conditioning is running, it can get quite cool, so that blanket definitely comes in handy. There are also a couple of small inbuilt steps to help you climb up to the upper berth. Unfortunately, they're located quite awkwardly, so it's not that easy to get up using them.
What's that?
Our hot tip is to bring a sleeping mask, and with the relatively slow speed of the train, we managed to get a solid night's sleep. Early the next morning, the attendant came through and packed everything away, folding the beds up back into seating mode and restoring the cabin back to its daytime layout. It's all done quickly and efficiently, and within a few minutes the space feels completely different again. It was then time for our quick breakfast from our vending machine snacks. Don't forget to pack something that's going to keep well overnight. Soon after that, we were pulling into the northern city of Chiang Mai. Overall, this was a really fun experience and a great way to travel across Thailand. We loved the privacy of the first class cabin, the comfort of the bed, and how easy the journey was. No airports, no baggage stress, and you wake up somewhere completely different. At this price point, we think it's really good value for an overnight journey. And next time, we'll be exploring Chiang Mai, from the old city and night markets to temples and the surrounding mountains. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and thanks again for watching. We'll see you again in the next one.